It's been exactly 1 week since I declared that I was going to do the 1 month, one lens challenge. And I want to give my findings already. As you guys know, I have a really hard time sticking to any promise I make on this channel. It's actually a joke and pretty much guaranteed that if I make a promise to do something that I probably won't do it. At least with cameras. Like everything else I'm pretty consistent in, like work, camping, other things in my life, I'm all good at. But this is not one of them. Anyways, the 35f2 Fujikron has been living on this X-T5 for the last week, and I have not shot another single focal length. I've only left this lens on here, and that's all we've done for just about a little over a week now. And as promised, I ended up buying one of these Instax printers, which you guys see right here, and I've been printing photos for the first week. Now, a couple things on this whole thing. What have I found so far? Let's just get to the point. What I've found so far is that the 50mm focal length is definitely workable. You hear like a lot of, prominent photographers, like the real photographers that either on YouTube or even talk, like we've read some blog posts and stuff like that, where the 50's hard to kind of get used to, but then once you do, it kind of ups your game. I can see that because I feel like a lot of times it's just too tight. And part of that is a byproduct of the fact that it's starting to get cold here in Michigan, that I'm not outdoors, and that I feel like indoors, it's tough to shoot a 50 and kind of get the context. I prefer the context. I guess this kind of leads to the point. What I'm finding so far is that after 1 week, I kind of want to get this thing off my camera, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick with this for a little bit longer still. But what I'm kind of realizing right now is that when I go to Florida in about 2 weeks, which is about when this whole 1 month ends for the 50mm focal length, I don't think 50 is going to be the right choice, and I have to make a decision before I do that, because I went to Florida, it was a year ago or so, with my Leica M10 and the 50mm Summicron. And I remember I came back from that. I did one lens 1 month, on that trip. And I came back and I was just like, no, man, for Disney, 35 is probably the right thing. 35, 40, maybe even 28, right? Like in that area, 28 to 40 is probably the right focal length, depending on what you want to do. And something relatively fast as it gets darker at night is probably something you want. So like f2 or below. But anyways, I'm going to keep shooting this focal length, but I'm going to change it up. Other cameras that I have, hold on. Let me pause the video and hold on 1 second. All right. So as I was saying, this camera, I've been shooting this a lot. I haven't talked about this really much on the channel. I haven't done a review on it. I haven't shared any images from it, but I've been shooting this. I just finished a roll of Ultramax, and I think what I want to do is I want to switch it up from the Fuji and go to this. And I should have been clear in my initial video. The one focal length, one camera thing, it really is about focal length more than the camera itself, just because, I always have like this gas of what's the right lens to bring with me type stuff. And I don't really love zooms because I feel like when I put zooms on my camera, I'm all over the place. Like, 16, whatever. The only time I prefer a zoom is if I know that I'm doing landscape photography or some kind of a hike, and I know that I'm going to need multiple focal lengths, but I don't want to bring those primes. Otherwise, I prefer a small prime all day, every day. So anyways, for the next week, what I'm going to do is load up some film inside this Nikon FE2 with this 50mm 1.8, so effectively the same focal length as it was on the X-T5, and we're going to shoot that. So with that said, this is what's going to be my everyday carry now for the next 7 days. I'm going to load some film in this, and we're going to go from there. Real quick, I want to show you guys some of the photos that I printed off of the Instax. I'll put these up on the screen so you guys can see them, but none of these photos are really that great. I think that kind of brought something else out too. Another element of it was that, I'm busy every day. I was working, picking up kids, hockey practice. I'm working on renovating this RV. Like I'll tell you about, you guys saw the video, right? And so the photos I took were a lot of times for like in the driveway or in the car or picking the kids up or maybe at soccer. But one of the ones I really liked was the first photo I took was this one. And I'll put the photo up in the video here. Is this photo right here of my son playing soccer. And, when I was able to focus on just the focal length or just the image and not the camera's crap, and I thought about what's a cool way to capture this. And so I set it to a slow shutter speed. I dragged the shutter and I panned with my son who was running, and I actually liked this photo. The other photo I got was coming down the road. I actually had the car next to me. It's probably not safe. And the light was just amazing. It's not really a great photo, but there's something about it that works. And the light, I think, lighting up the house kind of works for me. Let's see what else. Just the same thing here, looking for light. If you look at on the cross of this steeple, the light's right there. That's why I took this picture, and I think it's okay. Same thing, got up in the morning, it was absolutely gorgeous, so I set this to silhouette. It really, the image itself isn't great, it's just more of colors. And so not all these pictures are like bangers. It's just that I was looking for colors, looking for composition, looking for light, looking for certain things. Took this picture of my car, just trying to see how I can frame that up the best. That's my Mach-E. And then same thing here, like just trying to figure out, this is not a good picture. It's kind of a throwaway shot. So obviously with me shooting film the next week, I will not be using the Instax printer this week, but I will get those photos printed. And so this has been really fun because the thing that's interesting about this is that you could be shooting a 5 megapixel or a 50 megapixel camera. When you print it, especially on these Instax printers, doesn't matter, especially at this size. So that kind of helps as well. And so with that, that's kind of where I'm going is with the film thing a little bit. It takes it even more from the digital to analog, and I'm going to try to get through an entire roll in 1 week, which is only 36 shots. Isn't a lot, but for me sometimes it takes a while to finish 36 shots. Real quick, this printer, while I'm talking about it, I think this thing's pretty awesome. Charging it up and throwing it in your bag on a vacation or something like that and maybe bringing 10 or 20 sheets, I think it's really cool, especially if you get into journaling. One of the things I was interested in was taking this Instax printer and printing something from the day and writing a journal blurb like on a vacation. And then when you make the photo book from the vacation, right, or maybe even that is the photo book, like you have this journal to put on your coffee table or some like excerpts from that journal to put on your coffee table. And so I think this is actually a really creative tool if you're into that kind of thing. Real quick before we go, I'll show some photos, just a couple of photos from the Nikon FE2 with the Ultramax, just a couple of these. Again, not great photos, but I think I like the colors a lot that came out of it, so that's cool. And last but not least, guys, I am having a major gas flare up. And it's for a weird reason, a camera that I have problems with, but I want to try. I think I'm going to pull the trigger on it. I know. But there's something that I saw that I just can't stop. I got to do it. So we'll talk about that at some point as well. Question is, do I switch focal lengths for Disney or not, for Florida or not? And I think I'm going to have to 1 week early because I can tell already 50 at Disney World is going to be too tight. I kind of confirmed it this week. Probably something more like 40 or 35, somewhere in that ballpark is going to have to be probably the focal length that I go with. Anyways, I just wanted to give you an update. You guys should definitely do this. If you're doing it with me, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. If you guys had something similar 1 week into it, the printing's been cool. The focal length thing confirms some stuff they already knew. And to change it up so I don't totally go crazy and get bored, I'm going to shoot a roll of film in this Nikon FE2. I really like this camera. I like it more than I like my Leica, I think. It's just, I like it a lot. So thanks for watching, guys. A lot of rambling. Appreciate it. See you in the next one.